Optional, really. If you're a power user and you copy the file to the correct location, do your own validation, your own conversion, you don't need to use these three functions of Winscore. They're optional. So now you have the flight logs in a location that Winscore understands. How do you match the contestant to the log file? Well, it's through the contest ID. Inside the IGC file, and we'll look at this in a minute, there's a line in there for the competition ID. In this case, you can see here the HF blah 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 contest ID. In this case, it's number 11, and they also have the glider ID there, the int number of the glider. Winscore will first look at the competition ID, try and match that to a contestant that's been entered in Winscore. If they match, you're done. They're tied together. If the competition ID doesn't match, or that line's not there, it will look at the glider ID. Sometimes that matches instead, depending upon the reporter. If that doesn't match, Winscore will try and match it up by pilot name. Try and use some fuzzy logic there. If it can't match in any of those three ways, the log will appear as not a contestant. Not a contestant means the flight log is from the day you're scoring, but the person who created the log, the pilot who created the log, is not recognized as a contestant. And this is becoming more of a problem starting last year because badge claims require the competition ID to be the serial number or N number registration number of the glider. And many pilots, contestants, forget to change this when they come. So these are the sort of things you need to work out on the practice day. Make sure that the contestant is generating good logs. But if there is a problem and there's no competition ID in there, then you need to learn how to edit an IGC file and change this information. Again, perform security checks first, and then you can edit an IGC file. And now's a good time to address a frequently asked question in Winscore. I can't see my log in Winscore. I import it, I bring it in, and it doesn't show up. Where is it? What's going on? Three things you need to check if this happens. First, check the IGC file name is valid for the date you're scoring. Make sure it wasn't renamed by the contestant to be, instead of the official name, make sure he didn't call it something like Team Member 1 X-Ray Delta. Make sure it is a compliant IGC file with the first three characters being the date. Make sure the IGC file is in one of the locations you specified in Winscore, and we'll get to that in a moment. And make sure the contestant's ID matches the contestant's ID inside Winscore. If those three conditions are met, you will see the logs in Winscore. And finally, perform daily backups. I've seen contests come to a grinding halt because the scorer's hard drive fails and he has to rebuild everything, go to all the contestants, get all the logs. It's a nightmare. Perform daily backups. Back up the Winscore files and back up each and every log you've received. So, finally done with that, let's look at some things on this computer. This is how you would set up a simple contest. For this example, on my D drive, I created a folder called Flights, dealing with several contests here. Since the previous example we dealt with Perry 2011, let's look at that now. I created a folder here for that contest. And below there, I've created a folder for each day and a folder for the practice days. Since you may receive hundreds of logs, you have to have a system for organizing them. You can put them all in one directory if you want, but then it gets a little bit unwieldy. So my recommendation is you set up a folder for each day and then put the logs for that day there. You can name these anything you'd like. You can name them the date if you want, whatever you prefer. Let's take a quick look at a typical IGC file here. I have it open in the Notepad editor. You can kind of see what's going on here. The A gives logger information, records that start with H or header information, and then the ones that start with a B are basically fixes. You can see the competition ID. In this case, it's 5E. The glider type, and there is no glider name, glider number here. But that's okay because you have the competition ID and it will be valid. Let's fire up Winscore. Here are the three methods we discussed. You can bring in logs from a Cambridge recorder, bring in logs from a compact flash card or SD card. Here you can specify the file names and copy it either from another location, whether it be CD-ROM, well, I don't know, anywhere. Flight logs, what you want to do here before your contest starts, go into Settings, Flight log search folders. These are all the folders that Winscore will look to try and find a log for your contest. And as you can see, I've gone ahead and entered the days that I just showed you that I'd set up. The top here it says, the top folder in the list is the default for the flight log uploads. What the heck does that mean? That's confusing. What it means is these three tools, when they copy a log over, they have to put it somewhere. They'll put it in the one at the top. So on the practice day, you'd want this one first. After the practice day is over, on the first contest day, you'd want to click this one and go move up. That means if you use any of these tools, all the logs will be placed here. Similarly, on the second day, you'd want to move that one up. If you have your own system, you're copying the logs with your own procedures and scripts, you don't need to mess with the order here. You do need to enter the folders here, but the date really doesn't matter unless you're using these three tools. And of course, to add additional folders, pretty standard stuff. Click here, okay, there it is. This COM port here is the COM port for the Cambridge logger. Not used so much anymore, but it is there. Let's look at these three tools. I'm going to click here. I happen to have a Cambridge box connected and on. I do have a fondness for antiques, so I keep one around. You click there. It's going out to the box right now. Scanning. And it displays all the logs in the Cambridge recorder here. You pick the one you want, select transfer, and the logs will be transferred to. Again, this is the first in the list that we just looked at. SD card. I'm going to have an SD card plugged in here right now. I'm going to unplug it, and this grays out. When a person plugs his SD card into your reader, this will come alive, and then when you click here, it will search the card for logs. Here is the option where you can select CAI or IGC files from anywhere, network location, thumb drive, card, whatever you want. And then in this list, it will give information about the security checks that were done. So we're going to come here to, we've opened up this day because I have some logs there for the day, and you can navigate between the classes by just clicking here for the flight logs. Let's look at the 15-meter class. When you see not analyzed, from a flight log perspective, this is very good because that means, hey, it found a log, it matched it up with a pilot, and it's ready to analyze. If you see log not found, that's pretty obvious. For this pilot, there was no log there. Either it was not named correctly, he hasn't submitted it yet, anything could happen. And here's the thing I was talking about before, not a contestant. That means it couldn't match this contest number it got from the log file with a registered contestant. But we know this guy has a log, and it's on a flash card. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to click here, and it went out to the flash card. It found an IGC file for the date in question, in this case Friday, March 21st, 2010. When it found a file that matched that criteria, it opened it up, pulled out the contest number and the name, and said, hey, you want to open it? You want to import it? You say yes. Performed a security check, okay. And here it is, and it did an analysis, just a little bonus. Let's look at the next class up here. Let's see what's going on with Mike Smith. He's a registered contestant, but he's showing up here as not a contestant. What's going on? Well, the contest number in the flight log is not correct, so I'm going to demonstrate now how to edit the flight log. Right-click here, view the IGC file, well, you can really edit and view it. So now we're editing it. You come here instead of Zulu mic, that's not right. X-ray mic, file, save, exit, flight logs, refresh that list, and there he is. So that long-winded tutorial is pretty much all I want to cover today. I hope this sort of gives you an idea of how to organize your flight logs in the Winscore program. Again, any questions or concern, my email address and phone number are on the website. Good luck with your contest, and thank you for your time.